securitized. So I think some type of legislation like that could work, because even with the Judge Torres opinion, where she ruled secondary market sales, programmatic sales on exchanges are not a security, she still said those initial sales to institutional investors were a securities offering, so Ripple lost on that point and may have to pay a fine.
That's the Puerto Rican, we're gonna get her, what's her name? Judge what?
Annalisa Torres.
Annalisa Torres, bendición. Ven aquí en diciembre. Tenemos una conferencia que se llama Limitless aquí en Puerto Rico y yo te invito y vamos a tener tremendo party después de eso también. But I want to interview you, my sister, so I'm gonna find a way, right? Where is she? What district?
New York.
Oh my God, I'm definitely gonna find a way, right, to come to you soon, okay? Because I also am a New York Rican, and that's special. So go ahead.
Yeah, so hopefully...
I'm so excited about it. You see, there's a hype right there. The Puerto Ricans, bro, we coming to save the day. What a shock. God put us here to season the earth. There's only 3 million of us. Think about it. Everywhere you go, you see Puerto Ricans, don't you? And they put us here, it's like a little island in the middle of nowhere. We're 1,100 miles away from Miami. You guys realize how far in the middle of the ocean you are right now? You're in a mountain in the middle of the water, right? It's about the distance from New York to Miami. In west, I mean east of Miami, right? Southeast. Yes, that's it, that far. Yeah, exactly. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're closer to Venezuela than we are to Miami, if you didn't know. And, you know, 3 million of us, but God just pick us up and shake us everywhere. Just the seasoning with some adobo. But go ahead. Especially in New York. He shook a lot of us in New York. Now he's shaking us all over Orlando and Kissimmee. Oh God, he's spilling the whole shake in Miami. But go ahead.
So I think any legislation that's passed is going to have to delineate between a security-based digital asset and non-security-based. It's going to have to be more than just Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities.
We need to get Judge Annalisa. We need to get her to get his job. How do we do that? We're going to promote her or something. We're going to figure something out. But go ahead. These are good ideas, I'm telling you.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
Listen, this is what it's all about. You have to support these people. Like, we gotta come together as a community. The people that are behind us, the politicians, the few of them, we gotta, like, when they go to campaign and stuff like that, we gotta give them a lot of money. Because those people, that's the only thing that works in this world, right? If you don't, they can't have bigger platforms, they can't have more marketing campaigns, they can't get louder and louder their message. And they're fighting against a lot of people up there that are looking at us. They're like, I'm telling you, they're just like the people that judge the hip hop awards and the Grammys and stuff like that. They ain't got no business doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then in the implementing regulations that the SEC and CFTC would develop below that statute, that would have to give safe harbors and examples and clear definitions of if you structure something in this way where it has this utility, then it will not be deemed a security. Yeah, that's really the only viable path forward for the US to not be totally left behind, because that would be a shame.
Yeah. Next. Nobody? Back to you.
Just a follow-up to that, what was Judge Torres' rationale behind the pre-sale being the security and the secondary market sales not?
So one of the conditions of the Howey test is whether there is an investment contract, and so the ruling was that those initial sales to institutional buyers, that there was an investment contract between Ripple and that buyer. But then when the tokens are later sold on exchanges, the person buying XRP doesn't know anything about Ripple, isn't in privity of contract with Ripple. Yeah, it was an interesting ruling that I don't think anyone anticipated her ruling that way, but most XRP supporters, most of the industry considered it very positive. Gary Gensler still tried to spin it negative as if, well, they were violating securities laws on those initial sales, and he's trying to appeal the secondary market ruling as well. But it offers, you know, a little bit of hope going forward. There's still some uncertainty of, okay, like those initial sales to institutional buyers, well, maybe those could have qualified for a private placement exemption, even though Ripple didn't make that argument. But there's a question now of, okay, if a new offering tries to say, we're doing this now, it's a security, but we're complying with the private placement exemption, then if it's later sold in the secondary market, can they switch and say, well, those sales are not securities? So that's kind of an undecided point of law. I'm not sure how that will play out going forward, or if we'll see other token issuers try to split it the way Judge Torres split the ruling. There have been other issuers that lost against the SEC, if it was Kik or Library or Telegram, but they had initial offerings that were probably qualified for a private placement exemption, but because they didn't have adequate restrictions on the resale of those tokens, the SEC looked at those initial sales and the later sales in the secondary market as one collective public offering, and so they ruled against the issuer on all aspects of it.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Let's give Candice Bryan a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, Pedro, for having me.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure interviewing you. You're welcome to return anytime soon. Hey, you guys, I want to put it out there, a couple of things. Number one, first and foremost, is we have a West Side meetup on Tuesdays.
Yes.
And that's where you've been spending the majority of your time here, correct?
I've been splitting my time between San Juan and the West Side.
Yeah, West Side,
I'm
West
torn.
Side.
I like both parts of the
I
island.
love the whole island, I really do. My brother lives in Isabella. I just kind of get stuck over here a lot because I'm always on the run. And I want to do a Crypto Mondays on the west side of the island. If you guys want to take a drive out there one time, I was thinking about doing something like on the beach out there at night. Like there's a dope beach on the west side of the island where my brother lives, and they actually have a bunch of huts that are there that we can kind of like make it like maybe even a Sunday and a Monday thing for people who are interested in going out there. The huts are like, there's like 30 of them, and they're like $200 a night. They're not expensive. Huh?
It's not 8 huts?
What?
I was just making a hut 8 joke, never mind.
Whatever. But yeah, we can do some huts and we can do some things out there. So if you guys are interested, I'd want to do something like that like in November. To do like a West Side meetup out there. We can kind of like plan it in advance. The other thing, Act 22, Act 60 donations. We are a nonprofit. We've got our stuff together. We need our support from the community for sure to kind of keep things rolling. As you guys notice, I'm also on the run a lot. You guys, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in California because a good friend of mine obviously is not doing well. Those of you who know, but other than that, I'll be there for, and I need somebody here the majority of the time. So Act 22 donations, you can help me out. We can definitely get a couple of things here, get our AV team back, right? That helps us get all the stuff on the YouTube and so on and so forth. So please reach out to me. Limitless is going to take place this year at the Lighthouse Gallery in Old San Juan. I think it's the right size venue for what the anticipated crowd should be this year for Blockchain Week. We do seem like we're trending forward, obviously, in the market. Obviously, if we have 2 weeks of spikes in the price of Bitcoin, the whole market goes crazy and we'll have a shit ton of people. That's usually how things go. And it looks like, that can happen, right? Maybe, right? We look a lot better than we did last week, though, didn't we? It's like the Wolf of Wall Street, you know what I'm saying? Last week I was not feeling so well. Obviously I was traveling and stuff like that. I was a little sad. This week we're back and we ain't going nowhere, all right? So that's just like the market. We'll be back. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for coming out. Let's hang out for a little bit. Thank you so much.